guys, it's Amy Jess again, and I am in my kitchen yet again because I am back with another baking video, and today we're going to be making some chocolate orange cupcakes. Now these are pretty delicious. We had a family bake-off in my house and I won with this recipe, so I thought I would share it with you guys. It's probably going to be one of the most complicated bakes of the week, but it's still definitely achievable, and it will be so worth it once you make them because of how good they taste. So let me take you over and show you all of the ingredients that I have for this recipe. Here is an overview of all the ingredients you're going to need for these cupcakes. So the main ones is obviously the cocoa powder, because we're going to make them chocolate. Got some caster sugar here. You can definitely use normal sugar, but I just prefer caster sugar in cakes. Then got some self-raising flour. My one's just gluten-free because I can't have gluten, but obviously you can use normal self-raising flour. Then some butter. This one is specifically good for cakes. 1 orange for the orange flavour, and then 2 eggs. And then in terms of the decoration, I have got myself some chocolate fudge icing, which you can definitely make icing yourself. I'm just being a bit lazy. I also then have some chocolate orange pieces, which I've already dipped into, but I'm going to decorate the cake using these. And then I actually had some chocolate left over from when we made the cookies the other day. So I thought I'd make some good use of it and put it into the cake somehow. I might decorate the cake with it or melt it in, who knows. But yeah, here's all the ingredients. These are the main ones you need, and then these ones are for decoration. First step, guys, you want to preheat the oven to 180 degrees. So for the first step of this recipe, I'm going to weigh out the eggs, butter, flour and sugar. Now one trick that I've actually learned is that if you weigh the eggs first, you can match all of the other ingredients to the measurement of that. So these eggs are actually really tiny, so I don't think they're going to weigh too much. Let me put them on the scales. Ooh. Okay, 102 grams. Usually when I do this they're about 120, so yeah, these are really tiny eggs. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to weigh up my sugar, flour and butter, put them into these little bowls and make them all 102 grams. Okay, so now I've got 102 grams of butter, 102 grams of flour and 102 grams of sugar and my eggs. So for the first step, I'm going to place the sugar and the butter into my mixing bowl, and I am going to mix them together using a fork. So your sugar and butter mixture should look something like this, nice and creamy and fluffy. And now we're going to crack in the eggs and pour the flour in and give it a good old mix. This time I'm going to put some elbow grease into it and use a whisk. Just added in about 4 heaped tablespoons of cocoa powder, and just keep on mixing until you don't really see any more lumps. As you can probably see, it's a bit messy as well, so maybe wear a piece of clothing that you don't really care about getting too dirty. I've just switched up the angle a little bit so you can see what I'm doing a bit more closely. Here's what the mixture is looking like so far, and there's just a few more ingredients we're going to add in. So like I said, I wanted to make use of the leftover chocolate that I had from those cookies. So I've melted it up in the microwave, and I'm actually just going to pour it in to the mixture to make it extra chocolatey. Now obviously you don't have to do this. I just didn't want my chocolate to go to waste, and I love chocolate. I have such a sweet tooth for chocolate, so I want my cakes to be as chocolatey as they possibly can. Now for the last ingredient, we're actually going to use the zest of this orange to give the cupcakes a bit more of an orangey flavour. Now if you don't know what zest is, it's actually the skin of the orange, the outside skin, and I know that sounds really weird, but it does the job and it's used in a lot of cake recipes. So I've got my little grater here. You ideally want a really thin grater so it grates it up really small. And yeah, I'm just going to start zesting this orange. So your orange should look something like this once you're finished zesting it. And here is what my bowl looks like. I'm just going to mix this all together now. It's now time to fill up the cupcake cases. I've got 12 laid out here. I'm not actually sure how many this recipe makes, I can't quite remember. But we're gonna put 1 heaped tablespoon of mixture into each cupcake tray. I've just filled up the trays and so annoying, there wasn't room for one more, but I think I was a bit too generous with the portion sizes in the first few cupcakes, so you could definitely make it fit 12 if you didn't make the same mistakes that I did. But now I'm going to pop them in the oven for around 15 minutes, but just keep checking on them because they might be done sooner. While the cakes are in the oven, we are actually going to do some preparation for some of the decorations and flavourings that we're going to need for the cakes. First off, I'm just going to continue to zest off the little remaining bits of the orange that I didn't get in the first time. Now that I have done that, the next step is to cut the orange in half. We're not wasting anything here, people. And we're going to squirt the orange juice into this bowl. Make sure you fish out any pips. We are then going to add 2 teaspoons of caster sugar into the orange juice mix. And this is going to make our flavouring that are going to really make those cupcakes taste like chocolate orange that we're going to pour on once they've cooked. So the cakes are done. One little trick to know if your cakes are ready, if you didn't already know this, is to stick a knife in and it should come out clean if they are cooked. So before we leave them to cool, we are going to make sure that they have that orange flavour by just pouring 1 teaspoon over each cake while it's still warm. I'm now going to pop them in the fridge for about 10 minutes to cool off. My cakes have been cooling for about 5 to 10 minutes. They're still slightly warm. I didn't want them to be cold when I iced them because I want the icing to go on nicely. But I'm just going to show you how I decorate one cake and then I'm going to do all of them. I'm going to take a little bit of the fudge icing on my knife and then spread it around the cupcake. Because they're still warm, it should melt slightly but not too much. Once the icing looks something like this, I am then going to take one of my Terry's chocolate orange slices and place it in the center, just like that. And then the final touch is to take some of that orange zest we grated up and sprinkle it all over the top. And that is your finished cupcake. The cupcakes are finally ready. Oh my gosh, they look incredible. Hopefully you guys can see them from here. I really don't want to drop them. Final thing to do before we finish, as you all know, is a taste test. So I've got one of the cupcakes here. Need to get a bit of everything in there. Yum. Oh my gosh. These are so good. That's it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and Paris will be back with you tomorrow. Bye.